Green Room has one of the most intriguing plots of the year. At least this is one of those films where the plot synopsis alone got me in the theater. This film's about a band that takes a gig at a neo-Nazi bar. That already sounds like a horrible idea. But these characters aren't exactly the smartest apples in the whole bunch. We'll just leave it at that. After they witness a crime being committed that could implicate some of these people, they get trapped in a small green room, and the leader of these neo-Nazis shows up, played by none other than the great Patrick Stewart. And from there on out, a very unnerving, suspenseful, grisly, gory game of cat and mouse starts. And this is not the type of suspense that makes you go, ooh, that was chilling and I feel really cool because that scared me. It's the type of suspense that makes you go, and in this rare case, I don't think that's a bad thing. This movie had to be that disturbing. And sometimes there are moments where I actually just was like, I don't need to see that. That's a little much. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It sort of really sells the horrifying situation these characters are in. This comes from the director of Blue Ruin, which is a film I enjoyed, but was particularly annoyed by how stupid some of the characters were. Unfortunately, the director has chosen to make a very similar film in regards to its characters. There really is no one to root for. You don't want this band to be murdered, but you don't really feel particularly much for any of them because they're all kind of dumb and they do really stupid things and make the worst choices you could possibly make in a situation like this. It's not to say that all of us would do the smart thing, but sometimes when you're watching these movies, you just want to take these characters and wring their necks and tell them, why in the living hell would you ever do something that dumb? You're going to die. And it's funny because the director himself has actually acknowledged this. He calls this the third film in his unofficial inept protagonist trilogy. This is another film that he's made in which some characters have absolutely no idea what they're doing and are thrown into a horrible situation. And they make choices that don't make sense and they suffer for it. And the director has acknowledged this. It was a little disappointing to see him do something similar in that way, but this film is different enough from Blue Ruin that I can look past that. I just hope his next film isn't another movie about a bunch of idiots that get caught into a horrible situation, because I think that would be pushing it. What impressed me most about this film was actually not so much the performances, it was the level of suspense generated. It is an unnerving film. From the end of the first act to the final shot, I was on the edge, and sometimes it was unpleasantly unnerving. The things I saw in this movie, for me, none of it was enjoyable to watch. It is a difficult film to watch, but I can't deny the fact that I was on edge. The director had me in his grip, and a lot of that is due to a very good performance from two people, Anton Yelchin and Patrick Stewart. These guys, strangely enough, are both Star Trek characters. One is Chekhov and the other is Jean-Luc Picard, and that's kind of funny. I just now thought of that. What was unfortunate, though, is that Patrick Stewart never really gets that big moment. I feel like his character was underutilized, and as such a great actor in such a strange role for him, I do feel they didn't get enough out of that character. Looking back on the film, there isn't that one scene where I think, oh my god, I'm going to rewatch that scene because he was so incredible in that scene. For instance, the movie Heat, directed by Michael Mann. Great film, filled with tons of amazing scenes, but what's the one scene that everyone always focuses on as being the scene? Well, the dinner scene between Pacino and De Niro. There was never that one scene for me in Green Room for his character, and I wish that he had that moment, but he was just sort of giving a good performance all the way through, but I feel he was underutilized. So as a suspense film, it works. I was on the edge of my seat for the majority of it. Nevertheless, I liked it. Good performances, good suspense. They could have utilized Stewart's character a little bit more, and I do wish the characters that we were supposed to kind of be rooting for were a little more smart than they are and make decisions that weren't like just straight up 1980s horror slasher decisions. Like one of them literally goes, we should split up. Yeah, that's a good idea. Let's split up. And I was just like, did you really just say that? That's like the biggest horror cliche of all time. And some of these decisions they make don't make any sense. Nevertheless, Green Room had me in its grip for the majority of the runtime, and I'm going to give it a B. Guys, thank you so much as always for watching. I'm going to have some more reviews coming for you very soon this weekend. I've already seen some other films. Going to be reviewing those shortly. You guys are the best. Thank you so much for watching. And if you like this, you can click right here and get Stuckmanized.